Photo Voice was first proposed by Caroline Wang and Mary Ann Burris in the 1990s. The main purpose of Photo Voice was to share community problems through photography and offer deeper meanings in a different perspective. The main goals of the Youth for Youth Photo Voice Project are to showcase community strengths and weaknesses through photographs and create critical dialogue to share our stories with community leaders. For our first episode, we have brought two Youth for Youth advisors, Diya and JJ, who have participated in the Photo Voice project. We've asked them about their opinions on the project and what it means to them.
Hi, I'm Gabrielle,
Hi, I'm Lydia.
and we'll be interviewing Dia today about her Photo Voice project. To start, Dia, why did you want to participate in this project?
Yeah, so I've been a Youth for Youth member for like the last 2 summers, and I wanted to be a part of this summer project mainly because I wanted to stay connected with this group of interns. But what excited me to participate in this Photo Voice project was the opportunity to analyze the community and brainstorm ways I could help make it a more welcoming and safe place for youth.
Perfect. Our next question is, how did you go about narrowing down the topic pictures you used for Photo Voice?
So I had a lot of photos to begin with at the beginning, and I am very indecisive. Most of them were just photos of places where I felt happy because I was surrounded by the people I loved. My process was grouping all of my photos into similar categories and picking my favorites from each group. I had a lot of photos about the art in the community, like murals and plaques, and I had many similar photos of beautiful places and natures like lakes, trails, and mountains, and also a few photos where I felt bonded to my community because I was having fun and doing things with the people around me. In the end, I was so indecisive, so I picked photos from all of those groups and collaged them in 3 different collages.
That's great. I think we saw a lot of common themes with other photos and the ones you included in your project. Can you tell us about your final pictures and describe them to us?
Yeah, so I have 3 pictures in total, but today I'm only going to talk about one of them. The photo I'll talk about is a collage of a lot of creative things that were happening in my community. It's a collage of some of the moments where I felt connected to my community because me and a group of my friends and family were engaged in creative activities just for the fun of it. The photos include chalk art, a homemade picnic, a collection of art that was made by students right after the PSAT, and a photo from one of the Youth for Youth self-care nights.
So what stories do you think your pictures tell your audience?
So the pictures of creative things I did with my friends show strong community bonds. Each picture in that collage represents a time where everyone was working on something together, whether it was to meet a specific goal or just have fun and share passions. For example, the center photo of art materials in the collage represents the Youth for Youth self-care night event, where a bunch of teens met before finals week to color pictures and make cards for their friends. It was a simple creative opportunity for stressed-out high schoolers to reconnect with their community and de-stress. Similarly, the other photos represent creative opportunities for youth just to have some fun with other youth. The story that these pictures tell is the carefree aspect of being with the people in your community, engaging in activities with them, in order to have fun, share passions, connect, and just to be a part of something.
Great, and can you tell us more about how your story and your pictures specifically relate to the lives of teens?
If you are anything like the teenager I am, you have got to be stressed out and even struggling when it comes to high school coursework and expectations. The students in my high school are under intense pressure to take as many AP classes as they can, get straight A's, the perfect SAT scores, and get into the perfect college. It's all quite stressful if you ask me. All youth need a break from that life and a chance to do something that they're actually passionate about. And sometimes we just need a chance to have fun and be with our friends and do something without the expectation that it needs to be perfect. That's why the pictures I took of fun, creative opportunities are something that make me feel happy and more connected to the people around me.
That's great. So going off of connecting to the people around you, what does connection and what does connecting to your community mean to you and look like to you?
I think connecting just kind of means participating, being outside and with my friends and family instead of stuck in a house behind a computer screen. The past year especially was very isolating due to the pandemic, and I want to be able to reconnect with my community by working with other people on a shared passion or a common cause.
How can listeners, whether they're community members or policymakers, help make a change when it comes to your Photo Voice story?
I would love to see spaces and resources available for teens in the community to create. Some kind of open space full of possibilities and opportunities to create and do anything that would bring friends and strangers together, thereby making connections in the community. Once a space is created, it's up to both the teenagers and adults to work together and plan and host events to bring people together. A safe place like this can be something that teenagers need to de-stress and take a break, but it's not a space that we can create without the help of supportive adults.
All right, do you have a second picture that you would like to share with us?
Sure. A second picture I have is a photo of a public art mural on a building next to my favorite acupuncture place. Written on it are the words from the popular song, "Don't Worry, Be Happy." And it's a collage with a picture of my medication to represent something that makes me feel disconnected to my community. So what makes me feel disconnected to my community is my health. I often feel stuck in dark rooms and away from people I love because of it. And while my personal story regarding my health is unique, mental health issues among teenagers is something that is widely common. As I learned last year from working with Sources of Strength leaders, teens who are struggling with their mental health find it difficult to ask for help due to the heavy stigma that surrounds these issues. And according to the 2020 Colorado mental health statistics, around 800,000 residents from the age 5 and above in Colorado reported 8 or more days of poor mental health in the previous 30 days. When I'm dealing with these dark days due to my health, something that brings me back to my community is seeing these beautiful murals and positive messages on the streets. Granted, it's true, a simple sign doesn't really cure anyone's health struggles, but you never know when a person struggling out there needs someone to pull them out of their darkness and back into a community that embraces them.
And surrounding the story of that photo, what change would you like to see in the community?
I would love to see streets and walkways and trails filled with art and beautiful messages in order to firstly make the community seem like a bright and welcoming place, but also to reach out to the public and provide the right messages and resources for those who need it. Targeted murals about mental health can even decrease the stigma surrounding it and encourage more people to find help. Murals and messages in areas like schools and libraries can even be accompanied by brochures and posters that point teenagers in the direction to helpful tools and resources if they need to find help.
That's great. And before we wrap up this interview, is there anything else you'd like to say to anyone listening?
I'll just say thank you to my audience for listening to my stories today. As a teenager, it's often difficult for our voices and our stories to be heard, so making this podcast here today and having you listen to it is really rewarding, and I appreciate you a lot. So thank you.
Thanks so much.
Hi, my name is Anushka.
My name's Rishi.
And we are here today to interview JJ about his Photovoice project.
Hi, JJ. Let's start off with, why did you want to participate in this Photovoice project?
Well, I wanted to participate in it to show how I connect to my community and how some ways people can find new ways to connect to the community.
How did you go about narrowing down the topic/pictures that you used for your Photovoice project?
I wanted to pick one for each of how it can prevent and how it could connect. So that's how I found a place that can connect and a message that can prevent connection.
Could you please describe your final pictures?
Well, the first picture is a picture of a COVID restriction signs and how we have to maintain 6 feet distance away from people. The second picture is a picture of the Broomfield Library. I thought I used that picture to show how people who enjoy the same things can connect with people who enjoy the same thing as them.
Great. So you kind of told us that the stories that both of your pictures tell. So how does each of your pictures and their stories relate to the lives of teens in Broomfield?
Well, I think that the COVID picture really connects because it shows how it can either really help some teens or not at all, and it can prevent people from connecting to other people and can even sometimes help people connect to people. The library just shows how people who like the same things can connect with other people who like the same thing.
What does connecting to the community mean to you?
I think connecting to the community is finding things that you can connect with other people, or things that you and another person like that are very similar, or just having a conversation with someone that you don't know.
So we've heard a lot about your stories for your pictures today, JJ. So I was wondering, how can listeners, whether they are community members or policymakers, help make a change when it comes to your Photovoice story?
Well, they can drive younger people to get out of their house and connect with people that they know, or maybe even go someplace with people that they don't know.
Great. Is there anything else you'd like to say to our lovely audience?
No, I don't think so.
Great. Thank you, JJ.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us today.
Thank you guys.
Thank you for listening to Sincerely Teens. Next episode, we'll be interviewing Marla Weber. We'll be able to hear her story and her organization called Teens with COVID. Each episode, we are going to give you a challenge to complete before the next episode. At the beginning of each episode, we'll discuss and reflect the previous challenge.
Go somewhere to take a picture of a place that makes you feel connected to your community. If you are struggling to find a starting point for the challenge, think about what communities you feel like you are a part of. Thank you for listening to Sincerely Teens.